Hey everybody, welcome back to Dad Talk. Today we are live in Washington, D.C. at CPAC 2020, and today I've got my man David Zere here from America's Voice News and Breaking Point. David, how you doing, my man?
I'm very well, thank you.
Awesome, my brother. So tell everybody a little bit about America's Voice and your show Breaking Point.
Well, right, so America's Voice News, we're based out of Denver. I have a show, Breaking Point, which airs on Friday nights at 8 p.m. We're on Dish Network now, Channel 219. It's very exciting because America's Voice.news has a little bit of a different perspective. We're in the White House press pool, and we stream all of the Trump rallies, and we go to all the rallies with full coverage, 3 or 4 camera crews. We cover the audience's reactions during the speech, which only Fox just started doing. We've been doing it for a year. And also we do a lot of man-on-the-street interviews, and then we go to the opposition outside, like the Antifa guys in their pajamas and stuff, and we give more of a perspective, to the viewers across the country, and we get a lot of hits. We get 500, 600, 700,000 people watching our pre-rally show, our Trump rally coverage, and then the post show, and we have great shows on the network, like the Steve Gruber show. We have America's Voice Live, so it's an alternative format that now is on mainstream television, because I think people are fed up with Fox daytime programming. They don't want to see Donna Brazile. She cheated during the election and sold, and received answers and provided them to the candidate. She violated the public trust. Like, how does Fox have her on?
Right.
So, so we're giving rise to another alternative media platform, and it's very successful.
Well, that's right. When they don't represent you fully in the media, you become the media, and I think that's what people like us are doing. And we connected really early on here at CPAC, and I was talking to you a little bit about fatherlessness, and you was telling me about some of the inner city problems that they're having there in New York, my man. Tell everybody a little bit about what's going on.
Well, I think there's a message across the country that these cities have been run by the Democrats for 100 years, and the conditions are horrible. Baltimore and the Rust Belt cities that didn't have industry. Detroit's on the mend a little bit because the economic news is so great, right? But they still have like 10,000 abandoned buildings. New York City, we have a particular crisis, in the Black and Hispanic community. 70% of the fathers aren't in the homes. The divorce rate's like 80%. And they have all these leaders on the news, like Al Sharpton type people, and they don't really solve any problems, right? And we have a mayor. So Giuliani cleaned up the streets. Right. The crime rate went from 2,000 murders down to 500 under him for broken windows. So if you were jumping a turnstile, chances are you had a warrant or a weapon on you, and they even solved serial killer crimes from that policy, quality of life crimes. So de Blasio's reversed all of that, the mayor of New York City. You can go to the bathroom in the street, you can assault a cop verbally, you can smoke weed on the street, you can drink, you can jump a turnstile while hardworking people would never do that. And people are getting away with murder, and the crime rate has spiked in the Bronx up to 86%. And the crime rate in New York City as a whole has spiked 36% just this year. And now we have bail reform on top of it. So there's 400 crimes you can commit in New York City, in New York State. 400 crimes that you cannot be held on bail for. You can solicit sex from a child on a school property, and you're not allowed to be held on bail if you get arrested. There was a guy who was arrested 3 times in one day last week. A guy robbed 5 banks in 6 days. A person let his baby eat a meth bag in his apartment, and the baby died. The guy got out that night on bail. There's illegal aliens killing a mother of 5 in Rockland County. The guy walked out on bail that night. It was a DWI accident after his blood alcohol content. They walked out of jail. So there's like a complete void on the moral compass in New York. In New York State, we have a progressive Marxist legislature. This bail reform is terrible. And now we have elder parole. Right. So if you commit a triple murder, the son of Sam is automatically going to be up for a parole hearing with this new law. If you commit a double murder and get like 2 life consecutive sentences with no parole, and you're 50 years old when you commit the murder, now at 55 you automatically get a parole hearing, even though they said you couldn't get parole when you were convicted. How is that fair to the victims and the families? So we have like an onslaught of various issues, and the economy has been so good that they've been getting away with this nonsense. But New York City's turning, developers are leaving. leaving. Wall Street's leaving. They're going to Tennessee for their back offices. They're going to Palm Beach Island. So New York City, and now we have a condo glut. We have all this construction that took place. So I feel we're headed for a crisis. And the homeless population, 92,000 homeless people in New York City, in New York State. 4,000 sleep on the subway every night. And then you got Los Angeles, where a population the size of Pasadena is homeless in LA, going to the bathroom in the street, killing off all the aquatic and mammal life in the bays. We got typhoid, we got Yersinia, we got 152,000 people in California. 53% are in unsheltered environments. So like, how do these liberals say they care about the environment and they care about people and all this stuff when they're not doing anything to fix it? And the only one I feel that's taking action these days is a guy like Trump. He gets on stuff right away. There's action right away. And now he's coming down on New York City and New York State with the global entry, because we're giving illegals driver's licenses in New York State. 900,000 of them are eligible for driver's license. And just my last point would be that Trump intervened and said, hey, we're not giving global entry for worldwide travel anymore to New York State citizens, because DMV in New York State, the Department of Motor Vehicles, refuses to share convicted felon and criminal information with DHS and Customs and Border Protection, so they could vet these people for these global entry and travel passes and stuff. He's like the only one who's doing anything, right? So we're under assault. A lifestyle, the average person's not being represented.
I'd have to agree, and that's the reason we've got to start speaking up, guys. When we're going through these problems, we're going to continue to go through these problems unless we do speak up and create media like we are and get that awareness and those issues out. David, tell everybody a little bit about where they can find you if they'd like to hear more from you.
Well, I have a show, Breaking Point, Friday nights, 8 p.m., Dish Network, Channel 219, and AVN. We'd love to have you on the show.
Absolutely.
This message is important because I know there's all kinds of other issues. The courts aren't fair to the dads a lot, right? So, and on the other side, the social services system is broken on Long Island. We had a guy who was a horrible father. He was a New York City cop. He was abusing his kids, his autistic 8-year-old son. He made him sleep in an unheated garage a few weeks ago.
I got the news on that, Thomas Valva, while I was live on a podcast.
And he froze to death.
It happened, yeah.
And the guy's an animal, and it slipped through the cracks. But by giving sanctuary policies in all these areas, what we're doing is the whole system's breaking down, because social services has to accommodate criminals now and all this stuff. So the eye's been taken off of the real problems of families that want to be responsible or want to have someone who's a threat in their life, and social services isn't able to intervene. And I feel like that there's a liquidation of the moral compass, right?
Right. Well, and that happens to mothers too, because in that case with Mr. Valva, the mom had been telling them for years,
right,
this is what's going on, and they was not listening. And
he manipulated the system as a cop. He had a lot of friends in high places, so the mother had the kids stripped away from him, from her. And I don't think she was really a bad mother. Everything that I hear is that she wasn't a terrible person, and they got the kid custody. He got the custody of kids with his girlfriend, and he probably shouldn't have.
Wake up, guys. That is parental alienation. That's what we're fighting against inside the family court, and it is a big issue. But David, I'd like to thank you for coming by Dad Talk today, man, and I hope to talk to you again some more in the future.
Yeah, we're fighting the fight, so we're on the ground.
That's right, guys. We're going to keep at it. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Thank you very much.
Awesome, man.